Right.
Is there a name for this business?
Snowden Guitars.
Snowden Guitars. But that's not a guitar, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's a Cigar-Box guitar.
So how does somebody get started with this? I mean, let's start from the beginning. Mike Snowden is 6 years old. He was taking guitar lessons or piano lessons with his mother, or what?
No, not at all, man. No, I started playing. I grew up listening to music. My folks listened to the Beatles and Stones and, all that classic rock stuff. And even classical stuff. My dad played banjo and piano. No, my mom didn't really play any music, but I didn't start playing. I picked up a bass guitar. God, when was that? I was probably about 12.
And what was your first bass guitar? The Fender P bass.
Oh yeah, man. I always had. When I think back, I had a plastic guitar. My folks always had some kind of guitar. I would bang around my dad's banjo, whatever. But I started getting into music. I started playing bass and started really getting into music. And I would come home from school, man, and just start playing the records. I didn't take lessons or anything like that,
So you put your headphones on and play along with what?
Yeah.
Led Zepp and
Exactly.
what else? Who are the early bands that you put the headphones on and played with?
Rush, Geddy Lee's a great bass player, obviously.
And the playlist was the first playlist.
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't even remember.
Because I remember my first band. I'm a little older than you are, so I remember my first band and the playlist because we were in junior high school.
Right.
And it was the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five.
Nice.
The Stones was a little bit edgy, but everybody was playing Satisfaction, so you had to play Satisfaction. Right? What do you think the first playlist was?
Oh gosh, we were doing. Oh gosh, I think about. We were doing, rock stuff, Ozzy and, some Rush stuff. And then we started doing, when I got into high school, I was in a band. Our band was getting to be pretty popular. We were doing more top 40 stuff, but we were doing proms and clubs and.
Did you have a little tuxedo? With
yeah, we
bow
did all
tie
that
and
stuff, man.
Right?
It was great though. It was fun.
Take us up to the point where you start to say, hey, I'm going to build Cigar-Box guitars.
Wow. So I moved to Atlanta to play music, and I played in bands. I moved here from Louisiana. I grew up in Louisiana. I moved here to play music. And long story short, the last band I was in, for about 5 years, we were on the road for 200 to 250 days out of the year.
Really?
Oh, man. It just wore me down.
So were you living the life?
We were in a van pulling a trailer. So it was great though. I mean, we opened for Joe Cocker at the Fox, and we opened for the Dave Matthews Band, and
nice.
We did some big tours. Then we played in bars, But yeah, I mean, we just were out there playing. And there's a bug like zooming all around.
What was the name of the band?
I played bass for Band of Soleil, Michelle Malone. And Band of Soleil. She lived in Decatur.
Really?
For years. I think she lives in Alabama now. But yeah, we opened for the Indigo Girls. Gosh, we did, Drive Me Crying and Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
So you were almost famous.
We were almost there. We signed a deal with Walter Yetnikoff. I'm on the 50th floor of the Trump Plaza in New York, overlooking Central Park. We did the record deal, the whole bit. Like, yeah, we did it. And it's just it just got so stressful.
Well, let's talk about that for 1 second.
All right.
Is it glamorous? Is it hard? Being an overnight success?
The 1 hour you're playing on stage was like the best, But the 23 hours of traveling and moving gear and getting lost and, This was 15 years ago, before like cell phones and laptops and all that good stuff. So we were
carrying your own stuff.
Got our own gear, which I have no problem setting up my own amp, and I love
easy
all that
for you.
stuff.
What about the drummer?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, man, because I would set my stuff up and I would start helping him set up. I love that kind of stuff. I build guitars, a lot of stuff to carry around.
At what point do you say to yourself, this is not happening? I love it, and I love meeting the people. And
well, ever since I was like 14 or so, being in bands, I just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up. And then we got to that point where I was doing that, and you know, I was just exhausted. I was done. I was like, all right, I don't want to touch an instrument. I don't want to do anything. And I quit playing. I put away all my stuff and didn't touch a guitar or a bass or anything for 7 years.
And you lived on the royalties from that big record deal, right?
Yeah, I wish. It's so funny. No, man.
And
no.
so here we are. How you transition from I'm not hitting the road anymore to building Cigar-Box guitars?
So I take this time off. We have a little girl. I have a 9-year-old, so she's awesome. So I take this time off, and I have a daughter, and I'm sitting there, and one day I'm like, golly, my little girl will never see me play. She's never seen me play music, That's kind of weird. I'd piddle around the house, with a guitar or whatever. So I was like, I want to play music, but I don't want a record deal. I don't want to play bass. I want to do something different, So I bought a banjo, and I bought a drum set. I started buying all these weird instruments, just looking for something. I was searching for something, And I stumbled upon this guy on the internet playing a Cigar-Box guitar one day, and I was like, whoa, what's that? What's this guy doing? So, man, I make one, and a friend sees it, and he wants one, I make another one, and, another friend sees it, and before you know it, I've made 20 of them, and, so yeah, I just start making them, and then the next logical step is, well, I need to do a record, I need to, record them, and let...
Well, let's go backwards. Who teaches you how to make a Cigar-Box guitar?
I guess nobody really. If you go online and you Google Cigar-Box guitar, you're going to find all kinds of stuff. Well, you Google anything, you're going to find stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you can find instructions and plans and all this stuff, And that's the cool thing about these is there's no right or wrong way to make a Cigar-Box guitar. And I think that's one thing I like about these things is there's no rule. Do whatever you want, It doesn't matter if it's got 1 string or 50 strings, or if you make it out of a cigar box or a broomstick, or I make them really nice with, really nice hardwood, and I fret them. You don't have to fret them. You put a nylon string, metal string, it doesn't matter, bass string, that's what really appealed to me. It's like, I'm like, all right, I want to do something where I don't need rules, I just want to do something fun. And I was searching for a way to do music that would be fun. Because it wasn't fun, near the end of my musical career, it was not fun, it was a business. So yeah, man, I started making these crazy things, and I did a record, I was like, I went to iTunes and I put in Cigar-Box guitar to see, is there any music out there, and I had a hard time finding music, so I recorded a record with no intentions of being in a band or playing music. I just, just go record a CD with a bunch of these songs I'd written. That's another cool thing about these little guitars. The way I tune them, I do 3 strings on them, and when you pick them up, you can just start coming up with all kinds of riffs. And I had all these riffs and songs written, and I was always the bass player in the band. I was just the bass player.
Time to get out front.
And it's like I pick up these guitars, and it's like this weird tuning, and it's a guitar, and it's like, whoa. I wrote all these songs, so I flew up to New York, my buddy's studio in Brooklyn, and recorded a record, and one thing led to another, and
so go ahead and do one. All right.
So yeah, they're just super bluesy sounding, and fun to play with a slide. So you got me all fired up to do music again, and they're just a blast, and they're, you know, you can't not like a Cigar-Box guitar, you know.
So
It's down, man.
let's look at some of the guitars, or
Yeah,
the
okay.
cigars, or guitars, cigars, guitars. I mean, these are artwork.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I start to think about them as artwork.
Yeah, like when I first started making them, I was using just, you know, junky wood and not really paying attention. But, you know, then I started using, like, this is walnut with European steam beech on this one, and this is bird's eye maple and walnut. I started discovering all this cool different hardwood out there, and, you know, how neat you can make a guitar.
So now, what kind of mechanics are you using on these things? On the heads and the tuning pegs and stuff like that.
Like this one, like those are Grover tuners. You can just use real inexpensive tuners, like these here. These are just, you know, just basic open back gear tuners. You can buy a pack of 6 from the store and make 2 Cigar-Box guitars out of it. That's what I like. These are really nice Grovers, like you would find on. These are actually the Goto ones.
Or turn it back over again. Let me just get a.
Yeah, there's those. See, I think I have some with Grovers on it, like this one.
I mean, is this stuff going to hold up in 10 years or 20 years?
Oh yeah, those are good, you know, quality tuners. Guys, I've had some guitars I've had for 5 or 6. I've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years, so yeah, they're, you know, definitely. I make them all solid, and like that's Louisiana pecan wood on that one, and walnut. Got my logo on it.
Nice. Who did the logo?
I did. I do everything. I've gotten to where I just do all my YouTube videos, my records. Well, if I go, I'll go to the studio and I'll have a producer or something. But I try and do everything in house, pretty much. So
what's this collection back here?
There's a bunch of cigar boxes. I'm always like this batch of 10 on the top here correspond with these. Let me grab off. I kind of show you how they go together. Like these necks. So here's a neck kind of in progress. It's all dusty. I've been sanding on it. But let's see. That is Rocky Tail. So each one is made to fit a certain box. So they kind of go. It fits the box just so. So the neck goes all the way through. So they're real sturdy. When you build them, the cigar box itself is not. There's no tension on the box. The neck goes all the way through like that. And then, so I do the neck, I do the fretboard, and then there's a piece that goes on the bottom. This piece that you see sticking through here. Let me find. I've gotten to where I'll do 10 at a time. So this piece, like I've cut out 10 of these. So it's on the Rocky. There it is. I label everything so I know when I'm doing them. So this piece goes on the back to give it more stability because I take the neck and I cut it out. So like if you look at, so there's the neck. Round off the back, kind of cut the relief for the headstock. And then you put the fretboard on top, and then you have a piece that goes on the bottom. This is how I build it. You can build them however.
Right.
But once you notch that out for the box, it just gives it more stability. Once you glue everything together, man, it's just, they're really stiff. So it all fits together like that. You kind of see the...
Now, is that a cardboard box or a wooden box?
They're wood boxes.
And then what? You laminate them or you...
No. If you look here, like you can see, like here's another one that's complete. The only thing I do, you notch out the box for the neck to go through, and I'll build a little frame. I'll build a little frame in there to keep it. I glue the box shut.
Right.
So it's nice and solid. There's a pickup in there, a real simple pickup.
What about pickups? They're not Fender humbuckers or anything.
No, well,
like that.
you could. That's the cool thing. If you want to put some Fender humbuckers on there, you totally could. You know, some P90s or whatever. There's some guys out there that'll hand wire their own pickups. I do little piezo pickups inside. It gives it when you plug these suckers in, it amplifies the whole. It amplifies everything.
Right.
So no matter what part of this, you know, it's actually right into the bridge there. So it gives it that. You know, the whole guitar is alive, you know, which is cool.
And of course, if you wanted to do a Jimi Hendrix or a Who or something like that, you could smash them up pretty easy too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
imagine.
man, you could just smash this thing to bits. Why not? You know. So, but I do all the inlay stuff. I do all the fret work. You know, all the inlay, the front dots, the side dots. Build a little bridge. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into these little guitars. You know, but boy, they're just a blast. They're just so much fun. So much fun. But you can do. You know, you can. That's what I like about it. You can tune them however you want. Put whatever strings on it.
I heard you talk to somebody at the Oakhurst Arts Festival, and you said, here, you could just pick it up and start playing. It's so easy. I'm not a guitar player.
Right.
Can I pick it up and start playing? I mean...
I'm sure you could. The cool thing about these, you can just...
Is it easy for a beginner to pick this up and learn how to play the guitar?
Yeah.
Or am I not really learning how to play the guitar?
Well... It's easy in the sense that you don't have to worry about those basic chords that, you know, the G, the C, the D, all those.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in open tuning, you can just lay a finger down like I was showing you earlier. If you want to do Smoke on the Water, you just... You know, you can just, one finger, you can do Back in Black. So yeah, you can come up with so much cool stuff with just one finger. You know, it's a power chord basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really cool like that.
So, not to be sexist about it, but if I had a 12-year-old boy who wanted to start playing the guitar, I could get him started with this pretty easily.
It's just so easy.
The kid be a rock star before he came out of his bed.
But yeah, it's not, you know, not your standard guitar or your standard tuning, but they're just a blast. You could just, another thing I show a lot of people is you can just play the bottom string and let the other ones drone.
Bravo! Hey!
How simple is that?
What's next? How many of these can you turn out? Am I going to be seeing this in a big box store, Guitar Center? Or...
I've made over 500 of them, which I
How long does it take you to make one? I mean, I know you're doing 10 at a time.
I'll do 10 at a time.
Just say one. What do you think? Or 10 at a time times 10.
You could make one. You can make one in 30 minutes if you wanted. Man, I'll just slap a neck, put a string on it, and a tuning peg.
Right.
But, with mine, obviously, I'm doing all this cool inlay stuff, and, I like to make them a certain way.
They are pretty, too. I mean,
I try and make them really nice, and my dog.
the wood sort of picks up the gold on these
and
Rocky Patel.
That's another thing. When I'm building them, I try and kind of pick wood out that's going to work with the guitar. Like this has that's a pecan wood from Louisiana. And in another situation, when you start talking about the wood, this wood I got from Louisiana, I went to this mill in Provençal, Louisiana, because I'm from Louisiana, lots of pecan trees. I grew up with pecan trees in my yard. It's like, man, I'd love to make some pecan neck guitars, Cigar-Box guitar. Where do you get pecan wood? You can't go to Home Depot and get pecan wood. Where are you going to find pecan wood? I can't find it anywhere. So I go home, I talked to my father-in-law, and he had a friend. He's got a friend who owns a mill. So we go out to this mill. I'm like, man, I want some pecan wood. And he's like, come with me. And he takes me into his shop, and he's got these slabs of pecan wood that 8 years ago that he cut. He was going to make something, and he never did. So it's been air dried for 8 years in this guy's shop, and he sells me a big stack of it, and it's just beautiful wood. It's like, man, that's so cool. I mean, I don't know where you're going to find a guitar with a pecan wood neck. So that's another thing. Is I'm starting to get into this different types of wood and where to find wood. And
does it affect the sound at all, or not really on the neck, and not really with this kind of
I think what really affects the sound is the cigar box.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. When you make them, they're so much fun. Like, here's a little smaller box, so it's gonna have, probably a little brighter, and a little bigger box is gonna have a little deeper tone. So that's another fun thing when you make them. You don't know what it's gonna do.
Right.
What's it gonna sound like?
They're not coming off the assembly line here, are they? Not exactly.
Exactly. Part of the fun is, for me, I don't have any plan. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan. I'm just having fun building guitars out of my
Are you
garage.
making a living at this now?
Getting pretty darn close. I do lots of things. I also perform.
Yeah.
I play shows. I do a one-man band. I do the guitars. I do lots of different things. I'd love to do it full time and that just be it. But I think nowadays everybody has to do, lots of things to make a living.
What does Mrs. Snowden think about all this?
She loves it. She just loves it. She helps me so much. I sell them online. I sell them all over the world online. I shipped one to Italy and one to Australia last week.
So can I ask, 10 a week, 100 a week in terms of sales?
Well, it really depends. Some weeks I won't sell any off my website. Some, this week I sold, I think, 4 off my website. I'll do a festival, and I might sell 10 at a festival. Weeks go by where I don't sell any. I might sell two on the website.
And what are the prices, Mike, for some of these?
I start them at like $300.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go from 300 and up, and that's with all my cool wood and nice tuners, and they're all electric. And I really, man, when I make them, I'm trying to make them as perfect as possible. I don't sell stuff that's, I don't want to ship a guitar to some guy in Australia and him get it and be like, man, that's a hunk of junk. You know what I mean?
Does anybody ever send them back?
No, never, ever, no. But I would if somebody didn't like it, I would gladly take it back. It's just me. I'm not a big company, or I want everybody to be very happy when they get a guitar from me.